In this podcast, we're going to be changing from base 2 to base 8, from base 2 to base 16, or from base 8 to base 2, or base 16 to base 2. And we're dealing with bases 2, 8, and 16 because those are the primary bases used by a computer. To help with our project, over here on the left, I've done a chart. In the chart I've counted from 1 to 15 in all of the 4 different number systems that we've looked at. B16 of course means base 16, so you see us with the 9 digits and the 0, and then to get our other digits, our other 6 digits, we'll use A, B, C, D, E, F. We got base 8 in the second row. Base 10 is my reference row. I just threw it in there to kind of give us a point of reference on the other number systems. In my base 2 column, I could have just as easily written 0 as just simple 0. But I wrote 0, 0, 0, 0, and I put them in groups of 4 for a particular reason, and we're going to be looking at these numbers both in groups of 3 and in groups of 4. We'll be looking at them in groups of 3 when we're working base 8, and in groups of 4 when we're working base 16. So let's go ahead and get started. The first example, example 1, says change 34 base 8 to 2. And I really shouldn't call it 34, it's just 34 base 8 to base 2. Okay, let's think of what 34 base 8 means. It means 3 times 8 to the 1 plus 4 times 8 to the 0, but 8 to the 0 is just a 1, so all it really means is 3 times 8 plus 4. Now let's see how we do that base 2. I can write a 3 in base 2 with a 2 and a 1, so a 3 in base 2 would be no 4s, 1, 2, and 1, 1. But what I want to do is I want to multiply that by 8. So I'll take that number base 2, and recall in an earlier podcast we said since 8 is 2 cubed, when you multiply base 2 times a power of 2, you simply add that number of zeros onto the end. So 3 times 8 would be 0, 1, 1, and then to multiply by 8, add 3 zeros on the end. And of course 4 is written right here. 4 is just a 4, no 2's, no 1's. So if I added to that a 4, 1, 4, no 2's and no 1's, I would just have the number 0, 1, 1, which is a 3, followed by 1, 0, 0, which is a 4. Okay? So basically, to write 34 base 8, all you have to do is write 3 in base 2 using 3 digits, and 4 in base 2 using 3 digits, and you're finished. So let's go to this next problem. And now, without doing all the extra stuff, let's just see how easy it is to convert from base 8 to base 2. The first number I want to write is a 1, so I write in base 2 0, 0, 1 using 3 digits because 8 is 2 to the 3. The next number I want to write is a 0, so I write 0, 0, 0 for 0. The next number I want to write is a 5. That would be a 4 plus a 1. So I write a 1, 4 plus no 2's plus 1, 1. And then finally I'm converting the number 3. That would be a 2 plus a 1. So no 4's plus 1, 2 plus 1, 1. And there is the number in its base 2 form. So 1053 base 8 is 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1 in base 2. Now let's go the other way. Suppose I've got a number that's in base 2 and I want to go back to base 8. Well, I just use the reverse of the process, again in groups of 3. I'll group off my numbers in groups of 3 because we're doing base 8, which is 2 to the 3. And I'll just write down what each of these digits is. Now, notice in my last group I didn't really have 3, I only had 1 digit, but if I just put a couple of zeros in front, that's a group of 3 also. So 0, 0, 1 would be a 1. 1, 0, 0 would be 1, 4 plus no 2's plus no zeros, so that would be a 4. 1, 0, 1 would be 1, 4 plus no 2's plus 1, 1, which is a 5. This would be a 2 plus a 1, which is a 3, and a 2 plus a 1, which is a 3. So that first number, base 2, is the same as 14533, base 8. Well, what would we do if we were doing base 16 instead of base 8? Well, as base 8 is 2 to the 3, base 16 is just 2 to the 4. So instead of grouping them in groups of 3 and writing the numbers, we'd group them in groups of 4. And that's why I did my numbers over there in groups of 4, was so it would be an easy reference for us. Now you might say, well, that's not a group of 4. Well, again, just put 3 zeros in front. Now it's a group of 4s. And those zeros in front don't change anything. That's still just the number 1. So let's go ahead and write it down. 0, 0, 0, 1, base 2 is a 1. 1, 0, 0, 1, that's 2 to the 3, or 1, 8, no 4s, no 2s, and 1, 1, so that's a 9. No 8s, 1, 4, no 2s, and 1, 1, so that's a 5. 1, 8, no 4s, 1, 2, so that's 10, and 1, 1, so that's 11, but 11 is 2 digits, not 1 digit. Now we're in base 16, so we're not going to use 11. We go over to see what an 11 is in base 16, and it's a B. So I erase the 11, and I put in a B, and I get that that big number, base 2, is 195B base 16. And of course, to convert a base 16 back to a base 2, you just use the reverse. The A, you would need a 10, so you'd need an 8 plus a 2. So 1, 8 plus no 4 plus 1, 2 plus no 1s. For a 3, you just need a 2 and a 1, so no 8s plus no 4s plus 1, 2 plus 1, 1. A C, when you look at the chart, corresponds to 12, so you'd need a 10 and a 2, but you don't have any 10, so you'd use an 8 and a 4. So I'd say 1, 8, 1, 4. No 2s, no 1s. And so the number A3C, base 16, is 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, base 2. Now the last conversion I'm going to do is going straight from base 8 to base 16, and the reversal of this process will take you straight from base 16 to base 8. And there is no direct conversion between base 8 and base 16 because 16 just is not a power of 8. 16 is a power of 2. That's why you can directly go from 2 to base 16. 8 is a power of 2. That's why you can go from base 2 to base 8. But 16 is not a power of 8, so you can't go straight from one to the other, but that doesn't really matter. It's almost a straight conversion. Let's go ahead and write these down. Since this is base 8, we'll be putting them in groups of 3. The first number we want to write is a 2, so we'll say no 4s plus 1, 2 plus no 1s. The next number we want to write is a 0, so we'll say 0, 0, 0. The next one we want is a 5. That would be a 4 plus a 1, so 1, 4, no 2s, 1, 1. And the last one would be a 2, so no 4s, 1, 2, no 1s. And we have written 2052 base 8 in base 2. Now let's convert it to base 16 by breaking it into groups of 4. You see how easy this is. This says no 8s plus 1, 4 plus no 2s plus no 1s, so that's a 4. No 8s, no 4s, and 1, 2, so that's a 2. 1, 8, no 4s, 1, 2, so that's a 10, but 10 in the base 16 system is A. So in almost straight form, we've gone from 2052 base 8, and we said that that's 42A in base 16, and that concludes the podcast.